Hello and welcome. Live from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. You're watching Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwa, and today our focus would be on the south side of the region. But before we get into that, let's have a snippet of our headlines making the rounds at the moment. Supporters of the Julius Abure-led Labour Party stormed the national headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Abuja, protesting what they called an unjust exclusion. Their grievance, INEC's failure to publish the names of the party's candidates for the upcoming FCT area council elections and several National Assembly by-elections. Placards in hand, they accused the commission of sidelining the party's democratic rights. Addressing the protesters, INEC National Commissioner Professor Abdullahi Zuru acknowledged their concerns. He assured the group that the commission would thoroughly investigate the omission of Labour Party candidates from its online portal. Zuru promised that all validly nominated candidates would be treated fairly and in line with the electoral guidelines. The protesters temporarily dispersed after receiving the assurance. However, party members say they will continue to monitor INEC's response.
Remains independent the confines of the law, legal framework that and I will assure you that that is what we'll continue to do. But let me
We begin in Edo State, where the Commissioner for Education, Dr. Emmanuel Padi-Yamo, is congratulating outstanding students who won the Mathematical Association of Nigeria competition in the state. The Commissioner presents cash gifts to encourage academic excellence. The winners, Alika Oselzele, Isaac Karen, and Henry Johnson Onyekachuku, are receiving 100,000 naira, 150,000 naira, and 200,000 naira respectively. Dr. Padi-Yamo is praising their hard work and assuring that Governor Monday Okpobolo's administration is committed to supporting quality education and rewarding brilliant students. As several states across Nigeria contend with the devastating impact of flooding, the Delta State's government has launched proactive measures to protect its coastal and riverine communities from potential flood disasters. Through its intervention agency, the Delta State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, the SOPADEC, the state has commenced large-scale clearing operations in vulnerable areas. Speaking during the exercise, the SOPADEC chairman, John Nani, and managing director, Festus Ochonogo, emphasized that the initiative follows Governor Sheriff Oborowori's directive to take preventive action in oil-producing regions exposed to rising sea levels and tidal surges.
Flooding remains a persistent crisis in the country. According to this year's forecast by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, 1,249 communities across 176 local government areas, including the Federal Capital Territory, have been identified as high-risk flood zones. Delta State is one of them. In response, the Delta State government has ramped up its flood mitigation efforts, focusing on the clearing and expansion of drainage channels in oil-producing communities such as Warri, Efrun, Udu, Ugeli, Saple, Kwale, Agbo, and Isoko. These proactive steps aim to reduce the impact of rising water levels and ensure better protection for lives and property. Mr. John Nani, alongside other members of the SOPADEC team, are on site, supervising flood control operations, digging deep into blocked drainage channels to restore proper water flow. During the inspection, the team asked residents to report illegal activities and avoid dumping waste in canals. emphasizing the crucial role of community support in sustaining flood mitigation efforts.
By the time they indiscriminately dump waste here, or allow others to drive in, because we as we go around, some persons are saying the people will drive down to dumping waste in the night. If they allow it, they should know that they will be the people to be affected, not really government.
Amid the interventions, some community members express mixed reaction, acknowledging the positive impact, while also pointing out ongoing challenges.
In those days, before when they rain for all the Odibo, Airborne is flooding. But now if they clear this place, the water will be less because the water will have easy movement to the main river.
In Agbo, the Sopadec Managing Director, Mr. Festus Ochonogo, was also on ground, overseeing the operations and encouraging residents to support the government's environmental agenda.
What we are doing here is the sitting of the drains, more of drains now, and so far so good. The people that are here, our team that is here, they have done well, and you have seen for yourself.
According to the Commission's schedule, the ongoing flood control will extend to Ika North, East and South, as well as Ndokwa, Kwale, Omutu, and Obiaruku.
For more on the Delta flood control, we're now being joined by the chairman, Delta State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, the SOPADEC, Mr. John Nani. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Now, how are the flood control works helping people in the riverine and oil-producing communities stay safe?
We're going around the states. The governor has directed, apart from the SOPADEC, the Ministry of Environment is on one side, the facing the Delta North area, mostly Asaba and part of Saple, whereas all the oil-producing communities within the state, we are doing our work for making sure that the drainages are cleared, the waterways are cleared, and the clogged cells of culverts are open. All these are going on simultaneously. The managing director, Chief Oshonago, is in Agbo, Kwale, whereas I'm the chairman, I am in Wari, Saple, Jesse, and other areas of the state where flooding has already, the flash flood has already commenced. So we're making sure that where that is flooded, we open the waterways and the canals, then the clogged cells of the culverts to be free so that it will not affect the community around.
Okay, now with this work that has started, what problems have you identified that residents still face despite this clearing of drainages and the canals?
The residents should know that when the flood comes, it will affect them the most. So they should desist from making waterways and drainages as their dump site. They have turned the canals into dump sites. The cause of the flooding is not really that there are not enough canals to remove the water from the community to the waterways and to discharge into the rivers and onward discharge to the sea. The problem is they're using these waterways and canals as their dump site. And once the cells are blocked, the water can no more flow.
Now talking about
it will return into the community.
Now, talking about indigents and citizens dumping refuse on waterways, what is the government doing to encourage people to stop this bad habit?
We have a system of PSP where these participants go around to collect waste from residents. In other words, this get to dump sites. The government of the state has made sure that each of these local government provides dump sites. But because they don't want to pay to this PSP to discard they pay the little levy for them to discard their waste. That's the reason why in the night they will go and drop it in the drainages. And when the rain is falling, saying that, oh, those monitoring cannot come out, or in the night here they cannot come out, they go and dump these waste inside the drainages. So there is a law in place that anybody who is caught dumping garbage or waste into the drainages, the person will be prosecuted. Just 3 weeks, I think ago, the Ministry of Environment took somebody to court who is dumping waste and damaging drains to the court, and he was jailed for 2 years. So my advice to citizens is that they should desist from it, because there's a law in place and the law will take its course. Duly noted.
Now, the rains have come. What support are people getting, especially what they need from the Sopadec to protect their homes from flooding? What's the Sopadec doing for indigents to help them reduce the impact of flood in their homes?
One of it is for us to, make sure that we move from community to community to sensitize them on the imminent flood that is going to come, and that they should move, because we have 2 types of flooding. One is the flash flood, which is here now. We're expecting the other one, which is the coastal flooding. So we are advising them that they should move to the upland, so that when the flood comes, they will not be caught in the web of being killed.
Now, has the government...
we are also getting ready.
Has the government made any plans in a new site to move them to, if that situation comes?
Yes, at any given time, the government always gets what we call the IDP camps, the internal displaced persons camp, where they will be taken care of. And those who would have moved from their housing to other post houses, there's a cushion of we providing things like foams and edible materials, like those things they can eat, because technically the economic of the area will be, destroyed, like their farmland. So government provide food items and others to cushion the suffering of the people when the flood comes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John Nani, the chairman, Delta State Oil Producing Area Development Commission. He's been talking to us on what government is doing in regards to flooding in Delta State. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
Now, moving on, in Cross River State, a significant step towards rural transformation is underway as Governor Bassey Otu flags off the 10-kilometer Ndok Junction Mbube Road project in Ogoja. The project, which falls under the governor's People First agenda, aims to bridge infrastructural gaps, improve livelihoods, and connect forgotten communities to economic opportunities.
Ndok, Mbube, and Okubushuyu, 3 historic agrarian communities in Ogoja local government area, have long struggled with poor road access, but today marks a turning point. Residents, traditional rulers, and stakeholders have gathered in Ekuntakumbube to witness the flag-off ceremony of the long-awaited 10-kilometer road construction project. Representing Governor Bassey Otu, Deputy Governor Peter Ode described the project as a fulfillment of a campaign promise, signaling the administration's commitment to developing every corner of the state.
The last time I was here, I told you that Senator Prince Bassey Otu is going to construct the road coming to Mbube. I am happy that today that job is going to start, and the engineer has assured me that the job is going to start immediately.
The excitement was palpable as Ogoja local government chairman Christopher Agbe commended Governor Otu for restoring public trust through purposeful leadership.
Your Excellency, we will just tell you thank you. And what you have done here, you have made us to build more confidence in you. Because during the elections, what is happening here today was promised, and today that day has come.
As the ribbon was cut, chants of joy filled the air, symbolizing not just the commencement of construction, but a rekindling of hope for thousands of residents. Governor Otu's People First agenda is gradually becoming a movement that delivers on promises, bringing tangible development to the grassroots.
Welcome back. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, is warning staff of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to stay away from corrupt practices. An anti-corruption sensitization program in Port Harcourt, the ICPC explains that corruption not only endangers individuals but also undermines development efforts in the oil-rich region.
It's the quarterly anti-corruption sensitization for staff of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. The event, held at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt, is organized by the Commission's Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU, in collaboration with the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC.
The whole essence is to make staff aware, because there's this saying that ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law. So we are carrying out this exercise so that staff are aware of the offences under the acts and the penalties.
ICPC officials, including the resident anti-corruption commissioner for Rivers and Bayelsa states, say the sessions are part of efforts to prevent corruption and promote transparency within the NDDC.
All this is for them to be careful in what they are doing as public servants, and also to effectively work in their different places. You know, they will say that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So we decide to come and sensitize them, remind them of what they know and what they need to know as they execute their duties.
Delivering the main presentation, ICPC's head of legal department in Rivers State, Evans Peters, explained various forms of corruption in public service. He warned that anyone caught violating anti-corruption laws would face strict penalties.
You've got to be conscious as a public officer to conduct your activities having these things at the back of your mind. And I can go on and go on. You know, it talks about corrupt demand by persons. I may say, no, I didn't ask anything from you. But if that a file that should stay on your table for 2 days stays for 2 weeks, there's the presumption of corrupt demand. Are we together? Yes.
At a time when Niger Delta residents are demanding better infrastructure and services, it is hoped that this sensitization program will promote accountability, diligence, and improved service delivery at the NDDC.
Governor Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State warns the residents and stakeholders to stay away from controversial Stop Creek area in Eket local government area. Governor Eno mentions that steps have been taken to resolve the ownership disputes that have fueled conflicts and environmental degradation in the forest reserve.
The Stop Creek Forest Reserve, also known as Akoyak Eket, is a protected forest in Akwa Ibom State. It was established in 1930 and has faced serious encroachments and violent clashes among neighboring communities over the years. Governor Moino pays a visit to Eket Federal Constituency and announces plans to set up a special committee with a major task of resolving disputes and bring lasting peace to the area.
There was a time when this local government was one local government, so there's no need to fight. I want to say, please, concerning the Stop Creek, I want to appeal to our people to please exercise restraint and caution.
He also thanks the residents for their continuous support and promises more development projects for the constituency in the near future.
What we want to do now is to set up a committee that I will chair personally. On government side, the deputy governor will be a member, the speaker will be a member, the attorney general will be a member, and then
we will take 2-2 from the 2 communities. I've received the needs assessment. I will look at it. We'll look at it. You'll see it in our 2026 budget. We will pick those needs. I'm not promising all, but we'll pick them based on availability of funds.
Before leaving the community, the governor pledges to improve investment drive for the area and warns against actions that could undermine the government's efforts to the peace process.
At least 10 political parties have declared their support for the upcoming local government elections in Rivers State set for August 30. This comes as some civil society groups demand a suspension of the process, calling it illegal and rushed. However, a coalition of opposition parties insists that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission was properly reconstituted by the National Assembly and urge political actors to back the process for the sake of stability and progress in the state.
More political parties and groups have declared their support for the upcoming local government elections in Rivers State, scheduled for August 30th. At least 10 political parties under a coalition of opposition parties announced their endorsement of the process. This comes despite calls from some civil society groups urging the suspension of the election. According to civil society activists, they argue that it is illegal for a sole administrator to conduct a democratic election. They also expressed concerns over the short notice given for the poll.
It is ironic that the very individual who once celebrated the illegality of October 5 are now the one attempting to discredit this upcoming legitimate election. Let us be clear. The state of emergency won't impose transfer executive and legislative function to the presidency and the National Assembly. This paved the way for experienced administrators and boards, including RISEC, to operate with legitimacy. 6. RISEC is dedicated to returning the true democratic governance to our grassroots. They are carrying out their duty diligently and effectively.
In a separate event, the Rivers Peace Initiative, a non-governmental organization, clarified that the election notice issued was only a revised version of the original timetable released by the previous commission.
The revised RISEC timeline, though imperfect, offers a constitutional path forward. It is a continuation of an earlier timeline interrupted by emergency disruptions. While the Commission should do more to deepen public confidence, the alternative, which is a continued democratic vacuum, is far more dangerous.
As the countdown to the August 30th local government elections in Rivers State continues, the endorsements from political parties and advocacy groups signal a growing consensus on the need to restore democratic governance at the grassroots.
And that's where we drop the anchor on this edition of Newsroom Series. I'm Dominic Iwiu. Enjoy the rest of your day.